Welcome back to World Coins History. You've heard the saying, old is gold, but these rare state $quarter coins that are worth more than you might imagine. Before you spend, watch entire video and comment if you find one of these. Who knows? Your next treasure could be hiding a fortune. Let's dive in. Top 1. Today, we're diving into one of the most visually stunning and symbolically rich coins ever minted by the United States Mint, the 2013 Mount Rushmore $quarter. Now, don't let its common look fool you. This coin may seem ordinary at first glance, but for the sharp-eyed collector, this piece of American currency could be hiding some extraordinary secrets. And yes, one rare version of this coin has been valued at an incredible $50,000. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for. Let's take a step back for a moment. The Mount Rushmore Quarter was released in 2013 as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a series of coins honoring national parks and historic sites across the country. Mount Rushmore, located in South Dakota, is an American icon carved into the granite face of the Black Hills. The coin was meant to commemorate not just the monument itself, but the American spirit of craftsmanship and dedication. Now, the design on the reverse of the coin is unlike anything else in the series. Instead of simply showing the completed monument, the 2013 Mount Rushmore Quarter gives us a behind-the-scenes look, a close-up view of two workers sculpting the famous faces into the mountainside. You see the detail of the chisels, the ropes, the scaffolding. It's almost like a time machine, taking us back to the construction of one of America's most iconic landmarks. For collectors and historians alike, this design adds a layer of storytelling and emotion that few coins can match. But what makes this quarter even more exciting is its rarity, specifically when it comes to minting errors and certain hard-to-find versions. You see, while millions of these coins were struck for general circulation, not all Mount Rushmore quarters are created equal. Some coins have unique characteristics that make them stand out from the rest, and these are the coins that serious collectors are scrambling to find. Let's talk about the types of rare errors that can dramatically boost the value of this coin. One of the most well-known is the double die error. This happens when the coin's design is struck twice, just slightly offset, creating a ghost-like doubling of the images or letters. On the Mount Rushmore quarter, this can appear in the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or even around the detailed areas of the workers' tools. If you spot one of these, you're looking at a coin worth far more than face value. Then there are the off-center strikes, coins that were not aligned properly during the minting process. Instead of a neat, round edge, these quarters will appear lopsided or have part of the design missing. Some off-center strikes are mild, but the more dramatic the error, the more valuable the coin becomes. Another rare variation includes die cracks and cuds. These are raised lines or blobs of metal that appear when the dies used to strike the coin begin to wear out or break. Some Mount Rushmore quarters show fascinating patterns that collectors consider to be totally unique, almost like fingerprints. Each error tells a story, and serious collectors know that owning one of these flawed coins is like holding a tiny, one-of-a-kind piece of history. But let's not forget the special edition coins, the ones struck for collectors only. These include the San Francisco minted proof and silver versions. These coins were never meant for circulation and have a brilliant, mirror-like finish or even a .999 fine silver composition. If you come across one of these, especially still in its original packaging or slabbed and graded, it can command a serious premium on the market. Now, before we get to the jaw-dropping value, let's talk about why collectors love this coin so much. It's not just about the errors or the rarity, it's about what this coin represents. It captures a moment in American history, a story of grit, engineering, and vision. The image of workers carving stone with their hands is a symbol of perseverance, determination, and national pride. For coin lovers, that emotional connection adds another layer of meaning that makes this quarter stand out in any collection. So if you're going through your change jar, or maybe flipping through your coin albums, and you spot the 2013 Mount Rushmore quarter, take a closer look. Use a magnifying glass, check the lettering, inspect for doubling, off-center strikes, or any unusual markings. You never know what you might find hiding in plain sight. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. There are confirmed reports that a rare error version of the 2013 Mount Rushmore quarter, in near-perfect condition and verified by professional grading services, has been valued at a mind-blowing $50,000. Yes, you heard that right. $50,000. For a single quarter. So the next time you get a handful of change back at the store, don't just shove it into your pocket. Take a moment. Look closely. Because one of those ordinary-looking coins could actually be a hidden gem worth more than a brand new car. Top 2, we're shining a spotlight on a beautiful and often overlooked piece of American coinage, the 2001 Kentucky quarter from the United States Mint. You might have seen it in your change and thought nothing of it, but this little coin holds secrets that could make it worth far more than its face value. Stick around, because what you learn today might just lead you to a discovery worth $58,000. Let's start with the coin itself. The Kentucky quarter was released in 2001 as part of the legendary 50-state quarters program, which ran from 1999 to 2008. Each quarter in this series honored a different U.S. state, and Kentucky was the 15th state to be featured. The reverse design of the coin is a powerful tribute to Kentucky's identity, showing the historic Federal Hill Mansion, famously associated with the song, My Old Kentucky Home, along with a thoroughbred horse behind a wooden fence. It's a nod to Kentucky's rich tradition of horse racing, heritage homes, and southern charm. Now, what makes this coin particularly interesting isn't just the elegant design, it's the fact that some 2001 Kentucky quarters were struck with highly unusual minting errors that have made them the target of collectors all over the country. In other words, not all Kentucky quarters are created equal. While most of them are common and worth just 25 cents, a very small number are anything but ordinary. Let's talk about some of the errors that can make this coin incredibly valuable. One of the most sought-after types is a double die error. This happens when the coin is struck more than once by the die, but the impressions aren't perfectly aligned. The result? Doubling on the lettering or parts of the design. For example, if you spot doubled letters in words like Kentucky, United States of America, or even the horse's details, it's time to get excited. This type of error adds major value, especially if the doubling is bold and visible without a microscope. Then we have off-center strikes, another collector favorite. This is when the coin isn't perfectly aligned when struck, so part of the design ends up missing, and there's often a blank crescent along the rim. The more dramatic the off-center error, the more valuable the coin becomes. Coins that are 10%, 20%, or even 50% off-center are rare and highly prized, especially if the date is still fully visible. Another fascinating error is the clipped planchet, which happens when the metal blank used to make the coin is improperly cut, leaving a curved chunk missing from the edge. It looks like someone took a bite out of the coin. These are hard to find and very collectible, particularly if the clip is clean and doesn't affect the coin's key details. There are also examples of die breaks, cuts, and strike-throughs, all of which can turn an ordinary Kentucky quarter into a rare, one-of-a-kind treasure. Die breaks look like raised lines or blobs on the coin, evidence that the dies used to stamp the coin were cracked or damaged. A cut appears when a piece of the die actually breaks off, leaving a raised, featureless blob on the surface of the coin. Strike-throughs happen when a foreign object gets between the die and the planchet during the strike, leaving an imprint of whatever was there, like cloth, grease, or even another coin fragment. But let's not forget about the proof and silver versions. These were not made for circulation but rather sold to collectors in limited sets. If you happen to find a Kentucky quarter that's got a mirror-like background with frosted images, or one that's clearly made of silver, it might be a proof coin or a silver proof. These already carry higher values, but if one of them also has an error or is in near-perfect condition, that's when things really start to get interesting. Now, why do collectors care so much about these errors? Because they're rare. And in the world of coin collecting, rarity equals value. The thrill of discovering a coin with a unique error is like unearthing a buried relic, something that shouldn't exist, but does. And for passionate collectors, owning one of these error coins is like holding a piece of minting history in their hands. It's more than just metal, it's a story, a mistake frozen in time, and in some cases, a financial windfall. So, if you're a collector, a hobbyist, or even just someone who keeps change in a jar at home, take a closer look at your 2001 Kentucky quarters. Examine them carefully. Look at the lettering, the images, the edges. Use a magnifying glass, or even better, a jeweler's loupe. You might find something that the mint never intended to release, something rare, valuable, and completely unexpected. And now, it's time for the big reveal. Among these rare errors and pristine condition Kentucky quarters, there is one particular example, authenticated and graded by a top-tier grading service, that has been valued at a staggering $58,000. That's right. $58,000 for a single quarter. 25 cents that could change your entire financial outlook. So next time you get a handful of change, don't just toss it aside. Pay attention. One of those coins might be holding a secret worth tens of thousands of dollars. Top 3, we're turning the spotlight on a coin that's part of one of the most ambitious coin series ever released by the US Mint, a coin that holds historical weight, artistic detail, and in some cases, a shocking amount of monetary value. We're talking about the 2000 Virginia State Quarter. You may have seen it 100 times without a second thought, but after today, you'll never look at this coin the same way again. The Virginia Quarter was released in the year 2000 as part of the 50 State Quarters program, a groundbreaking project that honored each U.S. state with its own unique design. Virginia's coin came out swinging, not only with a powerful image but also with deep historical symbolism. The reverse design features the 3 ships, Susan Constant, Godspeed, and Discovery, that carried English settlers to Jamestown in 1607, America's first permanent English settlement. Just look at the detail in those ships, the sails, the rigging, the waves beneath them. This coin is a tribute to the very beginning of America's colonial story, but what makes the 2000 Virginia Quarter truly fascinating isn't just its design, it's the hidden value it might hold. And no, we're not talking about 25 cents. We're talking about the possibility of turning one of these quarters into thousands, or even tens of thousands, of dollars. Yes, really, you see, while millions of these coins were minted for circulation, only a tiny fraction contain rare and valuable errors that can turn an ordinary piece of change into a collector's dream. These are the coins that serious collectors lose sleep over, the ones that slip through the cracks at the US Mint and end up being worth a small fortune. Let's go over some of the key errors and variations that make the 2000 Virginia Quarter incredibly valuable. First up is the famous double die error. This happens when the die, the tool that stamps the image onto the coin, hits the blank planchet more than once but slightly out of alignment. The result is a ghostly double image on the coin's surface. On the Virginia Quarter, you'll want to look closely at the words, Virginia, Jamestown, or even the ship details. If you see any doubling, especially visible to the naked eye or under slight magnification, your coin could be extremely rare. Another highly collectible flaw is the off-center strike. That's when the coin is not properly aligned when it's struck, causing part of the design to appear off to the side or partially missing altogether. The more dramatic the off-center, the more collectors are willing to pay, especially if the coin's date is still fully visible. Then there's the clad layer error. U.S. quarters are made from a sandwich of copper and nickel layers. Sometimes, during minting, one of these layers can be missing or partially peeled away. The result? A coin that might look copper on one side or have a strange, mismatched finish. If you ever come across a Virginia quarter that looks off in color or weight, it might be one of these valuable oddities. Don't overlook the broad strike error either. This occurs when a coin is struck without the retaining collar that gives it its standard shape. Instead of having a neat, circular edge, these quarters will appear stretched or misshapen. Combine that with a state quarter design, and you've got a real collector's item on your hands. Now, here's the best part. Some of these rare error coins have not only been authenticated by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC, but they've also been auctioned off for incredible sums. If your Virginia quarter includes one of these rare minting mistakes and is in excellent condition, uncirculated or even better, certified as MS 68 or higher, you could be holding a jackpot in your hands. Let's not forget about proof versions and silver-proof quarters, which were minted especially for collectors. These coins were struck multiple times with special dies to give them a mirror-like finish and sharp detail. If you happen to find one of these in your collection, especially if it somehow ended up in circulation by mistake. Don't underestimate its value. Even without an error, a flawless proof coin can fetch a premium. Add an error into the mix, and now you're talking about serious money. So what makes all of this so exciting for coin collectors? It's the thrill of the unknown. The idea that hidden among your everyday coins could be a rare anomaly worth thousands. Every coin tells a story, but some coins whisper secrets of value, history, and rarity that most people will never hear. Unless, of course, they know what to listen for. Now, the moment you've been waiting for. One extraordinarily rare 2000 Virginia quarter, featuring a significant error and graded in near-perfect condition, has been valued at a jaw-dropping $59,000. That's right. $59,000, for a single quarter. Just imagine the possibilities. So the next time you're sifting through your spare change, sorting your coin collection, or stumbling upon an old coin jar in the attic, keep your eyes peeled. Your lucky Virginia quarter might be waiting for you. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the hidden world of rare coins, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell so you never miss our next rare coin reveal. We've got plenty more treasures to uncover together. Top 4, we're spotlighting a modern coin that many people overlook, yet hidden among its design could be the key to a small fortune. We're talking about the United States 2018 Voyagers quarter, a coin that's part of a beloved national series but is gaining attention for all the right reasons, and some very rare and very valuable surprises. Stick with me, because in the next few minutes, you're going to learn exactly what makes this coin so special, what rare errors to look for, and why some versions of this 2018 quarter have sold for eye-watering prices. And yes, one of them has been valued at an unbelievable $43,000. But we'll get to that in a moment. Let's begin with the story behind the coin. In 2018, the U.S. Mint released the Voyagers National Park Quarter as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a 56-coin series celebrating national parks and landmarks from every state and U.S. territory. This particular design honors Voyagers National Park in northern Minnesota, a breathtaking region filled with lakes, forests, and wildlife. The reverse of the coin shows a common loon swimming gracefully in the water, with a backdrop of a rocky cliff and pine trees. It's simple, serene, and deeply symbolic of the wilderness and natural beauty of the northern Midwest. The detail is striking, from the ripples in the water to the texture of the bird's feathers. If you're a nature lover, this design speaks to you. But if you're a coin collector, the real thrill comes from what lies beneath the surface. You see, most of these quarters are just that, quarters. They were struck by the millions and intended for everyday use. But every once in a while, something goes wrong at the mint, and that's when things get exciting. Let's talk about the errors, the rare mistakes that can turn this average coin into a serious payday. One of the most desirable is the double die error. This occurs when the coin is struck twice by the die, but not perfectly aligned. The result? You might see doubled letters in the inscriptions like United States of America or Voyagers. The doubling can also appear in the image itself, on the loon, the trees, or the ripples in the water. These kinds of errors are rare, and collectors are always on the hunt for bold doubling, especially when it's visible without magnification. Then there's the off-center strike, which is exactly what it sounds like. When the planchet, the blank metal disc, is not perfectly centered under the die, the coin ends up lopsided, with part of the design missing. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin, especially if the date and main design elements are still visible. Another exciting error is known as a strike-through, which happens when a foreign object, like a piece of cloth, thread, or even grease, gets in between the die and the planchet during the strike. This leaves a strange, sometimes ghostly imprint across the coin's surface. If your 2018 Voyagers quarter has odd textures, unusual smudges, or areas that look stamped with something unexpected, you may be holding a strike-through error. Let's not forget about clipped planchet errors, where a portion of the coin is actually missing due to an error in cutting the metal blanks. These coins often have a crescent-shaped bite taken out of them and are highly collectible, especially when paired with a visible date and design. And yes, the rarest of them all, mule errors, where two dies from different coins are accidentally paired together. While none have been widely documented yet for the Voyagers quarter, if such a coin were ever found, it could be worth a fortune. Now, let's talk about condition. Even if your coin doesn't have an error, it could still be worth more than face value if it's in mint state condition, meaning no scratches, no dings, no signs of circulation. Coins graded MS-67 or higher by services like PCGS or NGC can fetch strong premiums. And if your coin is part of a silver-proof set or has a mirror-like finish, the value only goes up. For collectors, this coin is incredibly attractive not just for its potential value, but also for its artistic beauty and connection to nature. It represents something pure, untouched wilderness, American craftsmanship, and the thrill of exploration. Owning a flawless example of the Voyagers quarter, or even better, one with a rare error, is like owning a piece of modern coin history. Now, let's get to the moment you've all been waiting for. 1 Verified 2018 Voyagers quarter, featuring a dramatic mint error and preserved in nearly perfect condition, has been valued at an incredible $43,000. That's right. $43,000, for a coin most people overlook, toss into change jars, or spend without a second glance. So the next time you're handed a quarter, especially one from 2018, don't just flip it away. Look at it closely. Examine every detail. Because you never know, you might be holding a hidden treasure. If you enjoyed this video and you want more deep dives into rare and valuable coins, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a discovery that could change your life, or at least your wallet. Top 5 and last coin, we're focusing on a fascinating piece from the United States Mint, the 2009 U.S. Virgin Islands quarter. This coin might look ordinary at first glance, but trust me, it holds secrets that can make it one of the most sought-after quarters in the collector's world. So grab your magnifying glass and listen carefully, because what you're about to hear could change the way you see this little piece of metal forever. The 2009 U.S. Virgin Islands quarter was released as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, designed to honor national parks and territories across the U.S. The design on this coin is truly special. It features the iconic 3 palmetto trees and a striking view of the shore that perfectly captures the natural beauty and tropical charm of the U.S. Virgin Islands. But beyond its artistic appeal, this coin also represents a fascinating piece of American history and geography, one of the few quarters to highlight a U.S. territory rather than a state. While millions of these quarters were minted for circulation, what most people don't realize is that some of these coins have turned into treasures worth tens of thousands of dollars. What causes this spike in value? Rare mint errors and exceptional condition. Let's break down some of the most notable errors collectors look for in the 2009 U.S. Virgin Islands quarter. First up is the double die error. This error happens during the coin's production when the die stamps the coin twice, slightly misaligned. The result? You'll notice a doubling effect on the inscriptions or even on the design details like the palmetto trees or waves. It might look like shadows or ghost images doubling parts of the coin. Such errors are incredibly rare for this quarter and make it a prized find among collectors. Next, there are off-center strikes. Imagine the coin getting struck slightly off the middle, meaning part of the design is cut off or missing. Off-center coins can range from mildly off to drastically so, and the more dramatic the misstrike, the more valuable the coin becomes. The U.S. Virgin Islands quarter with a strong off-center strike is a unique specimen that collectors dream about. Another fascinating error to watch out for is the clipped planchet. This happens when the metal blank from which the coin is struck isn't cut correctly, causing a portion of the coin to be missing, often creating a curved or straight bite mark along the edge. These coins are extremely rare, and when found in a popular design like the Virgin Islands quarter, their value skyrockets. There are also die cracks and lamination errors. Die cracks appear as raised lines on the coin's surface where the die has fractured during the minting process, while lamination errors happen when the metal layers of the coin start peeling apart. These imperfections create unique textures and lines that set error coins apart from their perfectly struck counterparts. But rarity isn't just about errors, condition plays a massive role too. The best specimens are those that look as if they just came out of the mint yesterday. These coins are graded by experts and, if they score as mint state or proof quality, especially at higher grades like MS-67 or above, their market value shoots way up. Now, imagine combining a rare error with an almost flawless condition. You get a coin that's not just a collector's item but a true investment piece. The thrill for collectors lies in this rare blend of history, art, and chance. A coin that was once just part of everyday commerce but now is a treasure, a story, and a potential fortune. And here comes the big reveal. One of these extraordinary 2009 U.S. Virgin Islands quarters, exhibiting rare mint errors and preserved in near-perfect condition, has been valued at an astonishing $59,000. That's right. $59,000 for a single quarter. So next time you dig through your change or sort through your collection, take a moment to examine the coins closely. What seems ordinary might just be hiding an extraordinary story, and maybe even a fortune. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the rare and fascinating world of coins, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our future treasure hunts. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting.